Today we're going to find a non-invasive way to set up this 8 kilowatt VEVOR diesel heater here in my residential garage without putting any holes through any walls or anywhere in the foundation. And what a lot of people do is they'll open up a window a few inches and run the exhaust or the intake tube through that and then use a piece of wood to block off the rest. But as you can see, I have 0 windows in this garage. In the initial review video, we used a thermal imaging camera and saw that this exhaust reaches temperatures of 350 degrees. So simply setting it on the ground and running the exhaust underneath the rubber seal of the door is not an option because it'll definitely melt that. So over here is where I'll be doing most of my work this winter, and then I thought about, what about removing one of these glass panes from the garage door, putting in a piece of wood or metal in its place with a hole through that. So I have 2 options here. I can either run this unit in the garage and pipe out the exhaust to the outside through the window, or run the whole unit outside and pipe the intake tube where the heat blows out into the window. And as far as efficiency goes, having this unit inside would be better because I'm pulling in the air that I've already heated and reheating that air. Having this outside, I'm constantly going to be drawing in ice cold frigid air and heating that to blow in the garage. But because I'm constantly creating videos for YouTube in here, it would be nice to have the unit outside, and although it's not that loud, it will make some noise in the background of the video. Also, having the unit outside will eliminate any carbon monoxide issues I may have from, say, an exhaust leak. Either way, because this window is up so high, I will need to fabricate something for the heater to set on. Say if it was inside, perhaps a shelf mounted on the wall here, or outside, I've got a garbage can that comes up to right about here, which will be perfect. Let's go take a look outside. So here's the garbage can, here's the window, and if I cared about how this looked from the outside, I could go get a piece of plexiglass from the store. Or I have a piece of sheet metal here, and it's even painted on one side already, and I'll be putting about a 3.5-inch hole to run the heat duct through it. And then when the heater's not being used and I brought it in the garage, I have this big old round magnet here that I could just slap right over that 3.5-inch hole. And that way it'll keep the cold air out. Before I take this piece of glass out and use it as a template for my sheet metal, I'm gonna mark exactly where these borders are for this lattice here in the middle, so I can make sure that the hole in my sheet metal is gonna be centered right in this area. Okay, it's gonna fall to the outside. I gotta come up with a plan here. Okay, if I pull this plastic cover off, I can reach back here and grab the glass and pull it inward. There, now it's not gonna fall out in the driveway and shatter. The biggest challenge here for me is going to be not shattering this piece of glass. Oh, and if you're wondering about what happens if the garage door gets opened, well, that's not gonna happen because obviously this hasn't moved in a long time and won't. Also, I can lock that door and pull this cable to release the door from the opener. So we are 16 inches wide, 12.25 inches tall. And my sheet metal is 18 inches wide and 12 inches tall. That 1/4 inch shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I just broke it. That was a fragile piece of glass. At least I have this frosted privacy sticker holding it together. This would go a lot faster if I used the plasma cutter or the laser cutter, but I don't want to burn off this paint because that's also going to keep it from rusting. So this tube is approximately 3.25 inches. Let's see, this fits inside here. So 85 millimeters. Maybe it's a few millimeters too big. Yeah, this 3.5-inch hole saw comes out to 89 millimeters, which is 4 millimeters too big, but there's no way I'm gonna be able to cut a perfect circle in this. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the hole saw, and when it comes down to it, if I am getting some wind around the perimeter here of the hole, I'll just go back and add like a rubber grommet or something like that to shrink that back down about 1 millimeter or 2 on each side. So let's find the center point here. Rubber hose for a fuel line, so it's pretty thick. I'm gonna slice this in half down the middle and wrap it around here to make a grommet, and that should keep things nice and airtight. There, we got my rubber hose slit all the way down. And this will also protect my hose from these sharp metal edges that I cut. And I made sure to put the slit here at the bottom so any water that gets in behind here will drain out. Oh, it's a tight fit. I should have used a thinner hose. Oh, we're in. One thing I didn't take into consideration was the thickness of this rubber hose. My magnet no longer sticks because it's too far away from the sheet metal. I got a couple of these magnets from old hard drives. These are really strong. They're a rare earth metal magnet. I'll put one here, and here's a cover from a electrical outlet. This will hold it in place. There we go. That works. Here's how it looks from the outside. However, when I'm not using this and I have this cover in place, that's gonna look pretty goofy from the outside being silver. So let's paint this black. This should lay down a little bit better if it's not freezing cold. I just topped off the tank with some diesel, and now I'm ready to try it out. Now I have two options. There is the 12-volt battery connection, which is good if you're outdoors in the wilderness, say camping. But the new version also comes with a power adapter to plug this right into a 120-volt outlet, and that's what I'm going to do. I put a piece of sheet metal under the heater just in case the exhaust gets too hot and melts the plastic lid. Not sure if it would, but I don't want to find out. And power on. Just got to hold it for 3 seconds. So in a few minutes, we'll have some clean, hot, dry air. And I can use this to direct the air where I want it to go. That'll do. And I can hear the pump kicking in. I'll check back in a couple minutes. So it's currently around 35 degrees in the garage. And the nice thing is, I don't have to go outside to change the temperature because I have this remote control. Let's crank it up to 10. I've got my thermal imaging camera here. I'll put a link to one of these in the description. And you can see it's been 5 minutes. And look at the heat output. We're up to almost 170 degrees Fahrenheit, where the air is blowing on the ground. That's already almost 50 degrees, the edge of that engine stand there. It's warming up this whole area, and that's awesome because replacing those rocker panels is the next job I'm gonna be doing on this thing. Okay, I've had this heater running for about an hour out here, and we are up to 40 degrees, so we got a 5-degree increase, which I'm really not surprised is that low because these walls and the attic above, none of that is insulated. And aside from adding insulation inside the walls and blowing in up above in the attic, which I do plan to do one of these days, let me know if you have any suggestions on this setup to where I might make it work a little bit better. I thought having this heat tube outside in the cold, frigid air might have a negative effect on the heat, but you can see we're sitting at almost 190 degrees. All right, I've had this running for another hour in, and now we are up to 45 degrees, and that's a good working temperature for me. I just wrapped up shooting a video on these laser cleaners. I'm done working out here for now. So when I'm ready to shut this down, I don't even need to go outside. I've got the remote right here. All I need to do is hold down the power button for 3 seconds, and the shutdown process will begin. My round metal plate is now cured and dry. And I do have a little bit of a gap here where the hole is, so we're gonna end up using the cowbell magnet after all. And here's one last view of how everything looks from the outside when not in use. Let me know your thoughts on this setup. Thanks for watching.